I am back with Greg Dedrick, my very own coach, the manager of True Pickleball Club, coach of many people, coach of many coaches, and a wonderful person to play with, which is, I don't know if that's true of all coaches, Greg, but you are delightful to play with. One of the
Thank you.
things you don't do, which you could do more of, is poach. When you're playing with a person who's less good than you. Now, I don't know if you play with someone as good or better than you. There aren't that many people better than you. In the world there are, but not in our sphere. But let's talk about poaching because I think that some men, and maybe there's women who do it, but I'm just going to say some men. Some men do it and they don't just do it to women. They do it to other men, and I'm not sure they always do it appropriately because poaching seems a very specific thing to pickleball. It's different in tennis. Not that we're shopping and comparing the two sports, but poaching in pickleball, especially in mixed doubles when the man is stronger, the man is, are you expected to poach? You are.
Like you just said, I'm not a big poacher. We're not pro players where my skill level is so amazing. And even at the pro level, sometimes I find it a little absurd because the women are also pro
Yes.
players.
Yes.
In an open play situation, maybe you get matched up with a teammate who's a little bit weaker, but that's open play. So I don't really
Right.
love the idea of poaching there either. And if I'm playing in a tournament or a league setting where I pick my teammate, ideally, I'm teaming up with someone who I trust to make good decisions and good shots. And by me poaching, I will often find myself or my opponents just out of position.
That's the problem. Let's say you're on the left side, I'm on the right side, right? So now you're a righty, your forehand's in the middle.
Yep.
So it can be very tempting for a man, might be taller, might be stronger, might be quicker, just might be better skill level to reach pretty far over to the woman's side, if you will, or the weaker player side in open play and just help out. But sometimes it really throws me off or the person who's being poached on off because now, oh, wait, I thought that was my shot. Okay, now that you took it, oh, you made a great shot. But what comes next? That's the problem is what if they send it back at me, you've just
Right.
taken my shot. So I'm like, oh, whew, I had a break, but not really, because now surprise.
Right. Exactly. When I do poach, it's a little more strategic than just being big in the middle. If I'm on the left side, maybe I'm hitting a sharp cross court dink a couple times. I'm pushing that opponent off the court where they're then either going to bring it straight up the line to you, or I'm going to be big in the middle. So I'm not necessarily on top of you because we've shifted as a team.
Right.
If we're playing straight up and my forehand's in the middle, of course I'm going to be a little more aggressive, but I would expect the same of my partner when they're on the left-hand side.
But being aggressive in the middle is quite different from the kind of poaching we're talking about, moving fully into my space, if you will.
Right.
There is a center line, right? The center line is there mostly for serving to designate the service box or the line to serve on, but it does make it cuts the court right in half. So at what point does a partner who is reaching way over with their feet, with their body, with their arm to take, let's call it my shot, not because
Right.
I'm way in the wrong position for it, just because they're like, I like that shot. I want that shot. I'm going to do that shot better than her. I think a lot of us have had the experience of somebody being, would you call it greedy or arrogant? That's what it comes across as. Wait a minute. That was right in my strike zone. I had a good plan for that. It
Yeah.
isn't that's a little different than just being big in the middle and helping out if your partner's a little out of position or hasn't gotten up in time.
And I think there's two very distinct poachers when you see them. And it is the people who I don't want to call them greedy. They're very aggressive players. Whether or not they think you're a weaker teammate or not, those players are just oftentimes aggressive poachers.
Yes.
And then there are other times where it's more strategic poaching. It's a play when maybe your teammate is slightly off the line. And I do this a lot even from the right side to keep people on their toes. If maybe my teammate's a little off the line and I'm able to get in there with a quick backhand that the other team didn't expect.
Yes.
But if you're just poaching over and over again, unless you're consistently putting them in places that your opponent can't get, eventually they're going to start to read that and they're going to take advantage of it. And I think you see that a lot more with those greedy poachers.
Yeah, I think we have to call them greedy poachers. There's a guy that I used to play with, and he would just laugh and smirk afterwards. He would almost occupy my entire half of the court. And whether he made the shot or not almost becomes irrelevant. Hey, we all came out here to play pickleball, if you don't mind. So
Right.
I'm glad that you enjoyed that. But meanwhile, as you said, the opponents are now going to say, you both are crowded over here. So we're going to put it way over there where the guy should have been, could have been, might have been. And now, but he had the great moment of being the great conqueror on the woman's side.
Right. And in open plays, you get the one offs sometimes where maybe you and I only get paired up once, then it's just that person. But I think if you're talking about poaching as a team, you play with this person often. My philosophy is I'm looking to empower my teammate.
Yes.
Hitting shots, not so I can take the glory, but to get you going. And the same thing, look for you to hit good shots to get me going. And I know that's not everybody's strategy.
I think one of the problems is you play a lot of tournaments. I used to play a lot of tournaments. There's no problem in that. The problem is that most of us play open play almost all the time. And if we're lucky, we have a core group of people like a true pickleball club, call it 50, 100 people who are there more or less rotating in and out every single day of the week at various times. So we know each other by name. We say hi. Some people play in a way you think, oh God, there's the lobber. Oh my God, there's the smasher. But really, we all like each other and we all deal with the shots that get thrown around. But however, if there is somebody, and that doesn't happen to be true at True Pickleball, which is unusual because I played in a lot of outdoor, not even with an official paddle rack, like who's up next, and then there's people are crabby about it, or there's a table you put it down on or a bench, and which is it going from the left to the right to the left? You really don't know who you're going to play with. You have no control over it. In those situations, when you're playing with a complete stranger, and the stranger thinks, yeah, I'm just going to drive over the double yellow line, help myself to what's over there. I think that's probably not okay, not kosher.
Yeah, it's difficult because a lot of times you play, like you said, the lobber. Sometimes you just play against people whose styles you don't enjoy, but it becomes a very different scenario when this person is now on your team.
Yeah.
No, that really changes things that way. To me, in an open place kind of situation, unless you're on some kind of challenger court,
right,
poaching consistently is not something you should be doing because, like you said earlier, we're all there to play. Sure, sometimes your momentum, you hit a great shot and you feel your body, you know where that ball's coming back and you anticipate it and you hop in front of your teammate and you put the ball away and you're like, and I think in that scenario, your teammate is probably going to be like, hey, awesome job.
Thrill. Yes.
But when you're consistently jumping in front of somebody, weaker or not, I agree. It's not really kosher. It's not really something you should be doing because how is that player ever going to get better if they're not consistently getting balls that they're allowed to hit too and work their way through things?
And maybe they'll do a good job and maybe they won't, but we'll never know. It's a mystery.
Open play. Right.
And the poacher very often blows it. Because they've reached so far and also the ball is coming at an angle where the physics don't work. You can't reach all the way over there for a ball that's basically coming directly at their partner, and they're reaching or kind of like around it. And the best they're going to do is something popped up, something weak, something attackable by the other team for them to have that moment of rushing into the burning building kind of thing.
I mean, of course, there will always be some time when you can put it away. And then sometimes people poach just to dink as well. And that's where I'm like,
that's
that a lot in the pro game. A lot.
That's so cool because it's a big surprise element. You think they're going to poach and put it away, and they poach and they reset it. It changes the dynamic. It changes the speed of everything.
Right.
Now everybody's on their heels and has to re-strategize, which is what's interesting.
Right.
So I guess what we're saying is that if you have a consistent partner and you both know that poaching is part of the way you work together, and it's delightful and you both expect it. And the person being poached upon, if you will, gives the room, doesn't hold their ground and then give
Right.
a look later. Hey, what was that? It's just the opposite. They're like, nice, thank you. Because that poacher knows they got to get back on their side pretty damn quickly to keep the team safe. Or you have something like myself and Jimmy, who's a much better player, and we're in a flex league together, and it's a 4.1 or 2 flex league, and we're stacking. So we're setting ourselves up so he can poach as much as humanly possible because he's got really good reach and great reflexes. He does sometimes overreach on a poach. He tries for something that wasn't physically possible. But is that a kind of danger in the case of a scenario of a team that can happen and then you just shrug and go,
I
oh,
think it's really about consistency and how your partner is feeling. I'm not a big poacher, as we discussed.
yeah,
I've got a female partner, Marina, who I play with a lot, and I'm not a big poacher. But sometimes you're in the groove and you're going, and we have learned over time just to feel it out.
yes,
No, like she knows when I'm going to speed up, when I'm going to dink,
that's
when
right.
I'm going to be aggressive in terms of a poach.
Yeah,
So I think that's really key. So if your partner is doing that and just winds up out of position sometimes, that's part of the game. If your
absolutely.
partner is poaching and it gets you out of sync, well, then I have to start wondering how effective that strategy is in that moment, right? Because in the
Yeah.
end, it needs to work as a whole.
For both people. And the other thing is, let's say the person poaches on you and you both think that's perfectly fine because you do know each other. And even if you've played half a dozen open play games together, you're like, I know how this guy plays. I'm okay with it because he means well and he's a good player. But the problem is that he then blocks my view.
Right.
Sometimes he poaches my ball. Now I'm flying blind. I now have an impediment in front of me. It's a human and the ball's going to come back possibly, and it could easily come back to me, at which point I'm not going to see it until it might be too late. Or he's got to hold his ground and play the next ball too. If it,
So I think that's big. A lot of times, if I am aggressive and poaching at the net with my teammate, the goal is to hopefully put it away. But if it's not, I'll just keep going. If
yes,
3, 4 shots, because I don't want to put my teammate now at a disadvantage. Now, if they hit back behind me, then I'll get over and I'll try to
yeah,
reset to get back there. But once I've made that aggressive move to poach, you kind of have to keep going because, like you said, if
yeah.
all of a sudden I jump out of the way, the ball comes flying at you.
Hello, yeah. Yeah, that's a really great point. So poaching has its place, but it's something you have to both be comfortable about, even have acknowledged, talked about. And if a person poaches a lot and says they're sorry each time, and we're talking a game to 9 in open play, and now they've done it 6 times, that's a fake sorry, okay? Because they're just doing it all the time. So
Yeah, it's like somebody who lobs nonstop. It's the same thing,
yeah,
right?
exactly. And they never apologize, darn it, because that's how lobbers are. And we've done a show on lobbing, and that's a whole nother, that's worthy of several more shows because it's out there in the amateur pickleball. It's not there in the pro pickleball. But we can't hit people with a stick saying, hey, the pros don't do it, because the whole point is we're not pros. Greg Dedrick, this has been really helpful. Those of you that want to poach, make sure that your partner is jiggy with it. That's only fair and do a really good job when you do it, right? Thanks a lot, Greg.
Thanks, Tracy.